So I really didn't think I would ever have to do this episode, but I will. I want to report that I have been double microdosing every day, pretty much every day for the past, I'd say for the past few weeks. And why have I been taking two microdoses a day for the past 2 weeks? Generally in the morning and generally in the evening. The only thing I can say is it's most likely because of the craziness and the tension and the scary stuff going on in the world right now. We went through the presidential campaign, the election. Now we've got all kinds of crazy international things going on. And I think it's really starting to weigh, or not starting, has been weighing on a lot of people, including me, admittedly, including me. And although I've been microdosing for 3.5 years now, and generally, 3, 4 times a week, generally. And early on, I remember I would have to do sometimes, and I say occasionally, I would do 2 doses in one day, but that would be actually very, very occasionally. But from what's been going on more lately, it's been cranked up a notch, and I'm not proud of it, and I'm not ashamed of it. It is kind of, I hate the expression. It is what it is. How much have I been dosing in the morning and in the evening? It really varies depending on how I feel, but on average, probably 200 milligrams on average each time. Again, average. And I don't always, I microdose for different reasons, as you probably know. Like I almost always take a little microdose before I take a Japanese lesson 3 mornings a week at like 7 a.m. And I almost always take a little microdose before that, about an hour before that. And I think it just keeps my brain really sharp. And I'm able to do things on a microdose that I think would be better than without. For example, the other day we went skiing, and I've talked to you many times about microdosing when skiing, and I just think it helps it it it, it makes me feel better about it. I think it makes me just a little bit better and a little bit more confident, which paid off in a great season last year. I took a large microdose, and I'm actually going to I live streamed about this, but I'm going to do an entire episode about this because it's worth it, because I've actually got some new information even since my live stream. But I took a 1 gram dose before a yoga class, breathing class, and sound bath class, all kind of combined into one, and it was a 2 hour session. And I wanted to go really, really deep for that. So I did like a 1 gram dose for that. And I think last night at yoga, I probably did about 250, about maybe a quarter of a gram, something like that. So it really does vary. But I'd say like on average, my microdoses are probably in the 200, 150 to 200 milligram range, something like that. Now, how long do I plan to be doing this? How long do I plan to be taking 2 doses in one day? That's actually a good question, but I don't know the answer to that. I really know how I feel on a microdose over the 3.5. Actually, it's getting closer to 4 years now that I've been, and on this microdosing journey, and I pretty much can predict exactly how I'm going to be feeling. So, I'm not really sure. I go by feel. I really go by feel, as opposed to a definite schedule these days. When I first started, I remember I was pretty much, I think, like 4 days on, 3 or 4 days on, then a couple of days off, then 3 or 4 days on and a couple of days off. And it was not a really rigid schedule, but I tried my best to stick to that. But as I became more experienced in the microdosing journey and in my personal journey, I've learned to be very intuitive with my body and my mind, and I can kind of feel when I want to microdose, and feel actually when I don't want to microdose. You certainly don't have to do it every day. I mean, you don't have to do it at all. Many of my followers here don't don't really microdose, and that's okay. There are many ways to improve your mental health, your spirituality, your connection with the universe, um, your physical health as well. Like I said, everything is connected. I've learned a ton and made a lot of improvements with my physical health since I've been microdosing. So everything is connected. But of course, there are a lot of ways you can do this without using the medicine. But for those that do use the medicine and follow me, um, you early on, we always suggest that you follow a schedule, but you can become more intuitive as well and do it by the way you feel. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. It actually works really, really well for me. And then sometimes and again, I'm not only microdosing for my mental health, but for my overall well-being, because I've learned so much about my life. And sure, in the first year, it really took care of my depression and anxiety in like a big way, bigger than any antidepressant or talk therapy ever could have done. I still believe in that, and it's my depression and anxiety are like pretty much all but gone. There's nothing left, nothing. But now I use it for other reasons, and I use it when I go to yoga or a sound bath or skiing or something like that. Also, I will dose generally almost always before I go watch music. It helps me just get into a deeper space, and as I've said, I like to get there an hour, usually an hour before the music starts, and I just sit generally by myself, or if I'm with somebody else, I generally won't talk. I'll go deep. I'll think about my life. I'll almost always have my journal with me where I can write down thoughts. So it's not just it's not just for mental health issues. It helps me advance my life in the way that I want to advance my life. There's no question about it. But yeah, getting back to the events that have been taking place, I would say internationally, because of course even the U.S. election affects everybody, nationally, everybody across the globe. And since that's over, and there's still a lot of backlash and hatred and finger pointing and things like that, it's something that I just think has been weighing on me a lot. And I think the dosing has just helped level me out quite a bit, if that's the right way to say it. And again, what's going on with we've got wars, we've got people they're escalating. They seem like, and just every time you turn the news on, it's more craziness. And of course, I've said in the past, but don't watch the news. Just and yeah, that's one way to look at it, and that should work. But I don't know. It was my personality. I just think that I need to check up on things. And I've talked a lot about this, some things that I think, some mental health issues that I think I still have, that I'm going to ask the mushrooms to take care of, which, I talked about in a few episodes back, which, OCD, ADHD, and more. And it's my personality to always be checking things. And I know it's a problem. I know it's an issue. I'm trying my best. I am working on this, but again, I thank the mushrooms incredibly for what they've done for me, for my for my mental health, as far as anxiety and depression. Again, totally different person. They've done their job, and if that's all they ever do, I would be thankful for the rest of my life. But however, thankfully, they are doing much, much more than that. But I still have a lot of work to do. There's still I think they're showing me that there's more work that I need to do, and not to stop this journey, because there's always room for more and more improvement, which I'm working on now. By the way, if you like the content here, I'm so glad to have you. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. And also, just I want to thank people that have joined my Patreon platform recently. We've got a lot of new members. There are things that we talk about on Patreon that we just can't talk about in this type of a format. And if you understand what I'm saying, there are things we talk about there that I don't talk about anywhere else. It is a paid platform. I keep it very, very inexpensive, and it helps the show quite a bit. So if you're interested in Patreon, just head on over to the show notes here, to my website, and everything's Microdose U. So I think you'll find it. But anyway, I'm still struggling. There are definitely things I'm struggling with. If I said to you that everything is absolutely perfect in my life, I'd be lying, and I don't do that. And why would I ever want to lie to you, my follower and friend, who is looking for help as well? Why would I ever do that? So there's no reason to. So I am the teacher. But I'm also the student and I'm also the patient. I can admit that totally because we're all looking to improve. Um, I was just going to say something else, but now that slipped my mind. It was semi important, but it'll come back to me. But I tell you, I do want to bring up and maybe on my next episode, possibly on my next episode. Most likely it'll be a Friday episode though, where I want to share with you what happened when I did take 1 gram of magic mushrooms and went to the meditation, yoga, breathing, and sound bath class that lasted for 2 hours. I want to share that with you because it's a crazy, amazing, good story, but could have been better. So I definitely want to share that with you on an upcoming episode. So anyway, I thank you from my heart for being with me today. I really appreciate it. I wasn't actually planning on this episode, but then as I took my dose this morning, I was thinking like I really need to talk to you about my dosing schedule and about what I've been doing and why I've been doing it a little more than usual, about twice the amount as usual. I wanted to share that with you. So I hope it helps you. I am Dr. Dave. I thank you so much for being here. Brand new episode every Wednesday and every Friday. And until next time, I want to say I do love you. Thanks for being here. And I'll see you on the next episode for sure.